Okay, we're back. Hello, welcome to another Ditch Witch Diaries. And now today we are joined by Rebecca, and she is going to tell us all about Rue. You see, one time we were sitting in this brewery, and she started telling me about Rue, and I knew she had to come on here and she had to tell everybody about it because it's amazing. So
Okay, let me
take it away.
take it away. Share my screen. Okay, you can see my screen, right?
I sure can.
Okay, well, I'm very happy to share with all of you Rue because I grew up in Mexico and Rue is one of those herbs that are present for everything. Rue is in almost every garden that where women grew herbs, and they're in cupboards and in pantries, and you go to the market and you're going to find Rue.
I'm going to
Rue,
tell you something. I'm going to stop you. I bought Rue. It's in my garden now because we talked about it. And so I bought it because we talked about it. So just,
great, you're going to love it.
yay.
Its scientific name is Ruta graveolens, or it can also be pronounced graveolens. Rue has been around for centuries. It is used in cooking, it is used in medicine, and it's got its uses in magic. And like all herbs that have been around for centuries and were scattered throughout Europe, and then they were brought to America, and these ones were also in Africa, it is known by many different names. The most commons are herb of grace, mother of the herbs, ruta, witchbane, garden rue, and in Mexico we call it ruda. And I love that name because ruda also means tough, strong, powerful. It is an evergreen shrub and it can grow from 2 to 3 feet in height. It doesn't take an awful lot of room in your garden. It's got those very small, very bright yellow flowers. They're like little buttons, and it flowers in the summer. The leaves are smooth, but they're very divided, deeply divided, and they have a greenish blue color.
They
The
do.
scent, the scent of rue is very powerful. The leaves of this plant are covered in oil. If you walk by rue and just brush against it, you're going to get that powerful smell coming right to your senses. It is a plant that does not hide itself in the garden. Powerful scent. In culinary uses, this herb has been around, like I say, since ancient times. The Bible mentions rue by the Greek name of begonnen, and it was a very common herb during Roman times. They used it with a mix of garlic and cheese, coriander, celery seeds, and that obviously Rome, Italy, it's going to then be passed on to Italian cooking. In the Middle Ages, it was again used for many dishes, making it a very important addition because if you think about cooking during the Roman times, the Middle Ages, there was no refrigeration. Sometimes the meats would be past their prime. They might even be slightly spoiled. Some of the meats they had were things like rabbit, wild boar, ducks. Those are gamey meats. And so the bitterness of rue disguised some of that gamey flavor. And because, its properties that I'll go over them when I go to the medicinal part, it also helped this cooking process. It is a strong herb with a bitter taste.
Mhm.
The small quantities does add flavor to soups, to stews and sauces. Here in the States, we're not used to doing stews and sauces in most of the areas of the country, but in areas like Appalachia, where they still have some of the wild animals, rue is used.
Mm.
It can also be used to flavor vinegars and to flavor oils and used as a marinade. And it's great as a marinade. And the one that I found most interesting is it's used in Ethiopian coffee
Oh,
in
wow.
small amounts. It is added to the coffee and it enhances the flavor of the coffee.
Huh.
Now, there is a caution to the use of rue because consumed in large quantities can have detrimental effects. It can actually damage organs because it can be toxic, and it is not recommended for women that are pregnant or individuals that have liver or kidney disorders, but especially, should be avoided by women that are pregnant. Medicinal uses of rue. It has been used as an antispasmodic, which, for coughs, unable to breathe, asthma attacks. It's anti-inflammatory when someone has arthritis, joints are painful, you bump into something and now you have a bruise. Anti-inflammatory, antimicrobial, which is also one of the reasons why it was very good addition to cooking, especially in the Middle Ages with
Yeah.
no refrigeration. And antifungal, again, excellent addition to cooking, to stews or meats in places where refrigeration was not available, and therefore still something that is widely used in Mexico, because in Mexico there are still many, many communities that do not have access to refrigeration. And it is used as a immunogogue, which stimulates menstrual flow for, hormonal reasons. A woman is late in her period, not a reason of being pregnant, but hormonal disorders or having a very light menstrual flow. It has been commonly used. Now, it has been used and it is used to induce a miscarriage.
But I
There are
learned.
recipes that have rue used as an herb that will produce an abortion. But, I don't even put the recipes here because they have to be very carefully used because it can cause a partial abortion or it can damage organs. It is not something that should be just used lightly. It is used, and in Mexico there are the curanderas, the folk medicine women that have experience, and they will deal with it. Just not somebody that grabs and says, "So I'm gonna put this bunch in a pot and I'm gonna boil it and drink it." No, because you can definitely poison yourself.
So
It is used to
yeah.
treat lots of different ailments, digestive disorder, menstrual cramps, respiratory problems. But again, rue should be taken in small quantities, not overdo it, because it can be toxic.
Good to know. Good to know. And we do keep a list of like we do note, we just are like abortifacient, not because like someday I think one of us may put it all together, but in our day and age, somebody like our healers and our midwives need to regain access to that knowledge because we are
Yes.
in a our women are being put in a position where we have to retain that knowledge. So,
Exactly. Definitely. We do have to retain it. The more, that it is being regulated out there where access is being denied,
yes.
then it is back to women to get that power back.
And they should be seeing their natural healers because their natural healers
They are.
know about this. So,
Mhm.
yes.
Now, during the plague time in Europe, rue was scattered across the floor in homes to prevent the inhabitants of the home from contracting the plague. Now, in our modern time, it is believed that it kept rodents away, thus the inhabitants were not exposed to the plague. We know that rats are very sensitive to smell.
Mm,
There are smells that a rat does not like, and rue is one of them.
nice.
So if
Great.
there's
I love
a
that. Good
rodent
to
problem,
know.
have rue and the rats will go away. They don't like it.
Perfect.
The magical uses of rue. Okay, rue comes from the Balkan Peninsula, but it just got naturalized all over Southern Europe and it is cultivated worldwide.
Mm,
Its element is fire. The planets are Mars and Saturn, but it is also associated with the sun. And the gender for rue is masculine and feminine. It's got both genders.
nice.
And its zodiac sign is Capricorn.
Very beautiful.
Now, rue has a very long history in folklore and symbolism. It is used against the witches, but it's also used by the witches and by shamans alike. So it is considered to be a protective herb and it's often used in talismans and amulets to ward evil spirits and bad luck. So it used to be put in little bags tied around and carried around. Not something that I recommend lately for you to carry around because it is a very powerful smell.
Mm,
And you might love it, but not everybody loves the smell of rue.
I'm gonna get
It
my
was,
nose in there. I cannot wait to I get so close to my plants. I can't wait to get in there and smell.
I love the smell of rue, but I know not everybody does. Now, in ancient Rome, it was used as a symbol of regret and it was used in funeral processions. Even to this day, rue holds a very important place in spiritual practices, in folklore and magical traditions. It is used as a cleansing for protection, purification, banishing negative effects. So I know in all of Latin America, if you go for a cleansing, one of the things that you will be exposed to is the rue. It will either be passed all over your body
Oh,
or it will be dipped in consecrated water that you will be sprayed with that consecrated water that has been picked up by the root. In the Middle Ages, that practice was used by priests. Instead of the aspergillum, they would dip it in the holy water and then they would purify the attendees at the church. Well, now it is still used pretty much in the same way, but it is used more by the shamans and the witches and the magicians, and not so much by the church. And in Latin America, I'll say by the Catholic Church, because the majority of people in Latin America are Catholic and they get purified with an aspergillum. But you'll go to Mass on Sunday, and then during the week, you'll go visit your shaman and you will be cleansed and purified with root. It's believed that it will enhance your psychic abilities, that it will promote clarity and provide spiritual strength. So It is recommended, for example, if you're going to do a tarot reading or if you're going to use a pendulum, that you have a tea before that, because that will be enhancing those psychic abilities. You will be more in tune with the messages that are being sent to you. It is associated with goddesses such as Hecate, Artemis, Ereshkigal, that represent the feminine power and wisdom and lunar energy. Diana is also in there.
Mm.
And in ancient Greece, it was associated with Aletheia, who was the goddess of childbirth. So it can be used to stop a birth, but it is also a protection of women that were pregnant.
Nice.
In
Oh.
the language of flowers, it is grace, clear vision, virtue, atonement, a fresh start. It is a very popular herb also with traditional Italian witches, the strega, and its foliage is a theme in magical silver jewelry. Those are the cimaruta, and I put an example of the jewelry
Wow.
that is used representing Rue. It is very popular in places like Italy, and you'll also find them in Latin America, along with the Tree of Life. The cimarutas are very popular, and they're like talismans to protect you from evil.
Nice.
In its masculine aspect, because Rue is feminine and it's also masculine, it is ruled by the sun, and its correspondence is fire. And if you hang a little branch of Rue right there by the front door, it will repel hexes or curses that may have been cast upon your home or upon those that live in your home. So again, it is something that is still used today. It is very easy to find, and nurseries carry Rue. You go to a Mexican market and you probably are going to encounter little pots with rosemary, lavender, and rue, because those are three herbs that must be present in every Latino garden. And if you go to the tea sections, you're going to also find rue. It is not a difficult herb to find.
I found mine it was so funny. I found mine at Fraser Farms, and they have these little potted herbs for two for $5. And now they're gone, of course. There was a
Yeah.
whole thing of them, and now the rue's gone.
Well, the good thing about rue is that the flower, once it flowers, it will seed.
Oh, good.
And then you will be able to get little roots kind of around. You can keep them because they'll grow in a cluster, and they are very beautiful. They attract insects, nice insects. They attract butterflies, and they attract hummingbirds, even though they have that very powerful smell. The hummingbirds are not deterred from trying to get to the honey of the flower.
Nice.
Okay. So I recommend everybody get rue for their home.
Okay. Awesome. Very nice.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And we will, let's see, you have to stop sharing your screen when you are done. There we are. And we are back. Thank you so much, Rebecca. That was first of all, I love that. And I wanted to know about Rue, and I know you knew, and you have just told me all about it. And I'm so excited. It's it was amazing. You rock.
Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
want everybody to have some rue and start enjoying the scent.
We will, for sure. I did. Okay. We will see you next time at the next
Bye, everybody.
Diary.
Thank you.